Just a reminder, after Seafair, yes, we all have to get back to work tomorrow, but remember, tomorrow morning, the KIRO 7 morning team prepares you for your day. Starting at 4:30 a.m., get all the major news you need, the weather and traffic every 10 minutes, and then you're out the door. KIRO 7 morning news. Wouldn't miss it. Still a few clouds hanging around the area, the log boom out there in the distance, and yet another addition to the Boeing Air Show here at Seafair, as we're looking at Lieutenant Colonel John Klatt from the Air National Guard. I bring in my co-anchor from the evening newscast, 5, 6, and 11. I got to plug those every time.
Right, that's right.
At KIRO 7, Angela Russell, and you've had an opportunity to not only talk with this gentleman, but haven't you been up in the air with him?
Yes, I rode with him on Wednesday, and watching some of the video right now coming in live, he seems like he was easy on me.
Oh,
because
is that right?
some of the, we certainly did some fancy maneuvers in the air, but watching the images that we just saw moments ago, I'm glad that we didn't do those. Oh, yeah, here's a picture here. We took the ride on Wednesday.
Look at you.
Well, I was trying to be a good sport there. We did snap rolls, torque rolls, and all kinds of maneuvers I'd never heard of. And I tell you what, it was, yeah.
What are you thinking when you're going upside down like that?
I'm just hoping that the plane stays in the air, hoping that it stays in the air. And honestly, once I was able to relax a bit, look at the hair going everywhere. Once I was able to relax a bit, it was actually quite beautiful, because when you go upside down, you see the glare of the sun, you see the water. It was just a beautiful day. Like, that's when I think I was enjoying the weather there. Also, the other thing, we were pulling 6Gs, Steve. So there were, at some points during the flight, you couldn't move.
No.
Your neck would move, your head wouldn't move, you were just there. The other thing that struck me about this flight is that it is a tiny space, so that when that window first closes above your head, it felt a little claustrophobic for a moment. So you let a little air in, and then it felt better. But he's with the Air National Guard team. He actually did John Klatt, Lieutenant Colonel John Klatt, who's flying right now. He did 3 tours in Iraq. So he has a lot of experience, fighter pilot, and it was quite the ride. I never imagined that I didn't tell my mother about it.
What a great day. What great fun. And you I have to ask, because people at home are asking, did you get a little...
I can tell you this, they did prepare me with, they showed me the bag in case you need it. But I did not need the bag. And what was really weird, I was actually fine the entire time. But then once we landed, that's when I started to feel a little off. And what was also interesting is that my body just didn't feel right for several hours. But the pilots who do this every day, it doesn't seem to bother them one bit. The other interesting thing about this, they're actually attached to a parachute. They make you wear a parachute just in case something happens.
Happily, you didn't need it.
No, and he's great and answered questions. He's just, there he is. There's a picture of him right there flying live over the air show right now. This team is actually pretty young, Steve, the Air National Guard, a way to promote the Air National Guard. Well,
and he is flying what's called a Staudicker S-300D for the Air National Guard, and handcrafted to his specifications. I guess there's only a handful of these planes out there. He's actually able to speak. I think he's speaking to his communicator here in the pits, and at some point we hope that maybe you're going to be able to talk to him here in just a bit as he continues on his performance. But we're seeing now, these are live pictures in the cockpit camera of John Klatt. Let's give a little listen as he's talking.
It's pretty exciting up there. Look at that maneuver. Now, I was mentioning that he is promoting the Air National Guard. I did ask him a little bit more, to tell us a little bit more about the team, and here's what he had to say. Tell us more about your team, and how many people are there, and how many shows do you do a year?
Yeah, we're proud to do about 20 of the best air shows in the nation, where there's hundreds of thousands of fans that come out. So we're coast to coast. When we leave here, we're going to go all the way to the East Coast in Westfield and do a show in Boston. And we're going to come back to Sacramento. So we're on all 4 corners. We'll be in Texas, Florida. It's a great program. and we try to spread the good news of the Guard all over this great nation.
And why Seattle? It made it this year, which is pretty awesome.
Well, Seattle is one of our favorites. It really is. Frank, Sebastian, the whole team, they have a really great event here. You know, the Seafair staff that they've developed with the hydro races, with the Blues being a regular attendees. We're lucky that they put us on the list and we get to come out and fly at such a great event.
Wow. Also, we knew that the weather from the beginning of the week, Steve, was going to be a big story here because of the clouds that were expected. So ask him about that, too. And you can imagine, I mean, looking at the maneuvers that he's doing, weather is important. Here's what he had to say about that.
We normally have glorious weather for Seafair, but right now, at least it's looking like it may be a little bit cloudy. How is that going to impact your show if it is cloudy?
Well, basically the FAA weather minimums are usually typically for the waiver 1,003, which can be the lowest that you can go weather-wise. So it really makes the area that you can perform quite tight in these small airplanes. But in the airplanes that we're in, it's actually possible to do a full air show routine, which is scripted between the surface of the water and 1,000 feet. And you have to really be a professional air show pilot at that point to do your job that day. It makes things exciting.
And certainly is John Klatt telling us a little bit about how the weather would affect his show, but it looks like he's doing all of his aerobatic maneuvers with ease there. Steve, something I didn't share, he actually let me take the controls for a moment.
Oh, my goodness.
I was a little tentative at first, so I just did a slight movement to the left. This was actually trying to go upside down, like you can imagine, like a seesaw a little bit. And it went well, and he said, look, trust me, go ahead. I guess he had the control just in case to help me out. But we actually went all the way to the side. It was pretty cool. Well,
you're a good driver, so I would assume you could fly a plane too. What do I know?
I'm here, and you know, as much as I enjoyed the flight, I am much happier to be sitting next to you, Steve. Because, I mean, you watch, it's just amazing what they do. And let's face it, a lot of times pilots have the reputation of being a little bit arrogant and Top Gun-ish, however you want to put it. But he actually was just so nice and so gracious, and even told me to call him John. I didn't have to call him Lieutenant Colonel. So I just really talented and nice to boot.
And amazingly talented. And as we look at that picture again up in the left-hand corner of your screen, that's a live picture in cockpit camera of Lieutenant Colonel, I don't know him that well, so I'll call him Lieutenant Colonel
there you go.
John Klatt, and the maneuvers that he is performing here over Lake Washington. So you get an idea of what the plane is doing from the outside, but then you also see what it feels like for him from the cockpit. And you know, again, which end is up sometimes? Where is the lake? Where is the sky? It's hard to tell. He makes these maneuvers so quickly and so fluidly. And
it is very easy to lose that sense of what you're doing, especially when you're going fast and doing a bunch of those aerobatic maneuvers consecutively. And I at that point, I just sat back and enjoyed the ride and enjoyed the view. But from his perspective, he said he's just focusing on the information he needs to have to do it safely, the speed, height, those factors that certainly play a key role in making sure that it's a safe, enjoyable ride.
And just like the Blue Angels, who are, let's face it, it is maybe the most important, certainly the most famous recruiting tool that the Navy has. He's doing this for the Air National Guard too, a very, very important part of keeping this country safe.
Exactly, and only a few years old. It was his idea. He kept going to the Guard to talk to them about this, and they decided to let him head this team up. And some of the members that he actually has an entire team. Some of them aren't members of the Guard, but they certainly go around promoting, and he certainly is a member of the Guard. And it has been amazing it's always amazing to watch the air show, but then having actually been in it to watch it now,
you get a whole new sense for it.
You say, did I do that?
Well, the next thing we do is we get you up in the Blue Angels.
That's next. But you know what? After this, I remember thinking, okay, I think I might be content now, but but we'll talk about it next year.
Do what you did in that plane, but move it up to 600-700 miles an hour, and then you're talking Blue Angels.
It's been a great show, and I'm so glad that the weather held, at least for us to have some type of show, whether it was flat, low, whatever you want to call it.
I truly think, you know, Rebecca, she just hit it right on the money, and she said that as the afternoon goes on, it'll continue to lift and continue to lift, and the air shows continue now to move up to be able to do some of their higher maneuvers because of that. And it's not uncomfortably hot, certainly. Maybe even a little chilly this morning, but all in all, and you look out over the lake now, and I know I'm talking about something we're not seeing on the screen, but the boats have now moved into position around the log boom, and the lake at this end near Seward Park and across from Mercer Island just covered with boats, all awaiting the remainder of the air show. And of course, the big boat races still to come, the championship races for both the Unlimited Lights and the Unlimited hydroplanes here on Lake Washington.
The cooler temperatures likely working in the favor of many of the pilots, because I can tell you, having been in there, they wear those long sleeve suits. And then you get in there and you close the window, and it was pretty hot, because that was the day when I rode with him. It was, I think, upper 70s, low 80s. So this probably will feel a little bit better. Take a little bit of the edge off.
I'll tell you what, it'd feel good to be on one of those boats right now.
I
just sort of kicking back and relaxing.
Yeah, during the Blue Angel show, I said that's what I've got to do, because I think the best view is probably on a boat.
Listen, as long as the rest of us are here working, you're going to be up here
I know,
working,
I was thinking
pal.
that. I was like, we have to be here.
That's right.
And we have to have you, Steve.
That's what, oh, no, I don't know about that.
Yes, yes, we do.
Listen, thanks, Angela, as always.
You're welcome.
Great, nice job up there in the plane. Congratulations. Thanks for coming back to us all in one piece.
No problem. Yes, glad I did.
And thanks to Lieutenant Colonel John Klatt, representing the Air National Guard with his Staudacher S-300D. Another fabulous part of the air show. Oh, look at that. It's getting a little late in the day for the little one there. But listen, not too late to know that we've still got more boat racing to come. Stand by. You're watching live Cairo 7 action, Seafair Sunday 2010.